Got to be careful what you wish for here when it comes to one person driving the wants and the needs of a political party. Elon Musk was speaking yesterday at the Qatar World Forum, and he was talking about how his future may no longer include, in fact, it's unlikely to include, hundreds of millions of dollars to support Republican politicians. Now, you might sit there and think, oh, boy, you're probably pretty upset about that, aren't you? No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm totally fine with it. I know there were people that were looking at Elon Musk and saying, he's going to be our George Soros. It was 5 minutes ago, Republicans were warning about the idea of one man through dark money and PACs buying elections. Then suddenly they found their own guy, or they thought they found their own guy, and they were like, this is great. Let's all buy a Tesla. We hated Tesla and EVs 5 minutes ago. Now we love them. They were massive hypocrites. And I like Elon Musk. I love Doge. I think his Cybertruck is ugly. I wouldn't buy one if I had a, car budget of whatever it is, $100,000. I wouldn't be interested. But that was never the point. Tesla is an incredible business. Obviously, they're a Magnificent Seven stock. That stock has skyrocketed since Tiananmen Tim came out in mid-March and was like, I love watching Tesla stock go down. It's up like 40% since then. So once again, the Rocket Man himself was wrong about just about everything. But I was always fearful of this idea that Elon Musk was going to be the guy that suddenly was playing puppet master within the Republican Party. And there were insinuations of that as recently as a couple of months ago when he was like, if you're not on board with the agenda, we're going to primary you in 2026, and Elon's going to make sure that you lose your election. It's like, no. That's not how this works. I may like what you're going for here, Elon, but that's not something I'm interested in being a part of on either side of the political aisle. So here's what Elon had to say. Qatar Economic Forum yesterday. Here he was talking about rolling back his political spending.
I think in terms of political spending, I'm going to do a lot less in the future.
And why is that?
I think I've done enough.
Is it because of blowback?
Well, if I see a reason to do political spending in the future, I will do it. I do not currently see a reason.
I wonder what's driving that commentary from Elon right there. Is it because he's realizing what a mess Washington, D.C. is? Is it because he's trying to do good work with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency? And obviously, he only had about a 130-day window that he was allowed to be a special employee of the federal government here. So he was always going to have to leave at some point in the next couple of months. I mean, there was only so long he could serve in this role for. Is he really realizing that Washington may in large part be broken? Is he frustrated with this big, beautiful bill negotiation that doesn't have nearly the amount of cuts that will save this country from rolling right off the fiscal cliff? Is that why? We don't know. He didn't answer that part of it. But he made it clear he is going to roll back his political spending after he dumped $250 million into President Trump's election this past year. Or is it that he's just bored? I mean, I think that guys like Elon, their brains just function differently from the rest of ours. We're like, outside of maybe, Mark's got a brain that functions like Elon sometimes. You should see the parlays this guy's putting together. It's just 6, 7, 8, 9 different ways. He's just, he's a savant.
1,000 miles a minute.
I know. It's just unbelievable watching this guy operate behind the glass. But is it because he's just bored? Like, was that just a thing he did because it was fun and he was kind of riding the election wave and you're in front of crowds of 20,000 people chanting, screaming your name? That is addicting. There's no doubt about it. But then you get to D.C., everyone hates you, and you got real work to do. There's something about it, the celebrity of it, the campaigns themselves. Trump's there doing YMCA. It's unlike anything we've seen in our lives. And you get caught up in the euphoria. And now it's like, holy cow, this place is broken beyond belief. I want no part of this. I'm going back to making Tesla as great as I possibly can.
Yeah, how much money can he spend, $250 million or whatever? It's like, it's easy for us to spend his money, right?
Sure.
He's probably got another kid on the way at this point, right? So you got to save a little bit.
Yeah, he's got more, daddy support bills.
He better buy a university. Better than spending tuition, just buy the university. Send your kids there.
Oh, man. Although he can't buy Harvard because, his kids are going to be white, so that's probably problematic for them. But either way, you look at this and you say to yourself, if you're a Republican voter, this is not Elon being a traitor. This is good. Now, I'd love for him to play some kind of role when it comes to donations, but I don't want Elon, and I never wanted Elon, to be the George Soros of the Republican Party, where everyone is suddenly beholden to this one guy. And there was some of that going on the last few months, right? Suddenly, like, EVs were, everyone loved Tesla. I'm like, wait, hold on. 5 minutes ago, we were railing on EVs. Now we're like, yeah, great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great company, but I'm still not going to sit here and champion electric vehicles. I'm just not going to do it. If it's right for you, great, go ahead, get one. But the notion that we should be subsidizing them is comical. And then for lawmakers to just, hand over fist, they were, oh my gosh, whatever Elon wanted, they were going to do, they were going to lobby for. And the other part of me and I'm going to talk to Tracy Mann about this in a few minutes. I can't figure out for the life of me, with what DOGE is doing, how much of that needs to be in this big, beautiful bill. How much of that can DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, just go out there and cut and get out of the budget and create more efficiencies in the federal government versus how much has to be handled through Congress? Because the spending cuts are not close to what most Republican voters would have expected in this big, beautiful bill. So who's to blame for that? And is that something that maybe is frustrating to Elon Musk? I don't know. But after he made those comments yesterday about his political spending future, he also sat down with CNBC and said this about the future of Tesla.
So one set of regulations that, just like there is for highway driving, that's what I think makes sense for the country as a whole. But my prediction is that probably by the end of next year, we'll have probably hundreds of thousands, if not
hundreds of thousands,
if not over 1 million Teslas doing self-driving in the U.S.
That's amazing. And that obviously will be revolutionary when it does happen for Tesla with these self-driving vehicles. And he claims it's not that all that far off. I don't think it's a coincidence that on the same day Elon Musk says he's rolling back political spending, he does a sit-down interview with CNBC, which obviously caters to the Wall Street crowd, and talks about all the amazing innovations that are coming to Tesla. That's a play to Wall Street. That's a play to the stock of Tesla, which is once again up 30%, 40% from its lows just a few weeks ago. But to me, that's a signal that he is digging back deeply into his businesses, which obviously will be a great sign for American innovation. On the text line, 913-408-7957. Pete, I didn't hear Elon say that he wouldn't give any Republicans money. I heard him say he would give no money to political spending. I'm not really totally sure what the difference is there. I guess he could cut a maximum donation check as an individual to candidates. But the notion that he's going to have a $1 billion PAC that will just be used to fund Republicans in House races and Senate races and then, the White House in 2028, that does not look like it's going to be on the table. At least that's my interpretation of that quote.